The Whatcom Mammal Stranding Network is a nonprofit organization made up of volunteers authorized by NOAA to conduct investigations on stranded marine mammals. We occasionally rescue abandoned seal pups and send them off to Wolf Hollow Wildlife Rehabilitation Center in Friday Harbor. This story is about one such rescued seal pup.
We received a call from a local boater on Lummi Island, and he was reporting that he had a harbor seal pup in the motor well of his boat. So two of us who live on Lummi Island, Claudia and myself, we went out and rowed out in a dinghy to look at this harbor seal pup. It was very small, very young, obviously, still had the umbilical cord attached. And we told him, well, there's not much that we can do. Mom might have stashed it here, and she might be coming back for it. We don't want to just take it. So the next day he went out to go boating, and the pup jumped out of the motor well. And when he came back in the afternoon, the pup was waiting for him. Seal pup climbed back into the motor well. The next day he was going out boating again, and this time he had to physically put the harbor seal pup out of the boat and go off. And once again, when he returned in the afternoon, it was waiting for the boat to come back, and it got right back into the boat and made itself comfortable in the motor wheel. After the third day, it became apparent that it had either become abandoned or separated from its mother, and that she was not coming back. It was losing weight. And so we did an intervention, and next morning we took the harbor seal pup in a kennel cage, and we took it out to San Juan Airlines. And they will take our pups to Wolf Hollow, the rehab place over on Friday Harbor.
We get seals for care from all of San Juan County, all of Skagit County, and also, of course, from the Bellingham area, from Whatcom County too. We're seeing at Wolf Hollow somewhere between 10 and 25 harbor seal pups each year that are injured, orphaned, separated from their mother.
We don't really know what happens to harbor seal pups when we release them. It's a real mystery.
A lot of money and time and effort is put into rehabilitating harbor seals that strand on the beach and get separated from their mothers. And we wanted to ask the question, do rehabilitated harbor seals behave like their wild counterparts? So that was really the start of this whole project. Right. The team at Wolf Hollow I love working with them because they're a group of professionals. And whenever we work together, we always talk about what we're going to do. We make the plan, and then we just act the plan, and everybody knows their job, and it works smooth, smooth, smooth. We put 3 separate tags on the seals. One of them is simply a number, and every harbor seal has been getting a flipper tag with a number on it since rehabilitation started. And that's okay. If somebody finds that harbor seal, they can track that number back and find out where that seal came from. But it doesn't allow you to track them actively. The other 2 transmitters, the one on the back is a satellite transmitter. And when the harbor seal comes out of the water and the antenna comes out of the water, that downloads the information, the exact location to a satellite, and then we can check on where they are from a computer. The other tag on the flipper, the yellow one on the flipper, is a very high frequency radio or VHF transmitter. And what we have to do there is go out with a receiver in an airplane or in a boat and see if we can pick up where that harbor seal is. Just like the satellite transmitter, that tag has to be out of the water. So the reason we put 2 on is if one of them fails, we should still be able to find them on the other one. If both of them fail, then we have a better feeling that, hey, the animal probably really did die and sink or get eaten by a whale, and it wasn't just a mechanical failure. We put an ice pack on the flippers before we punched a hole, and this is a lot like putting an ice pack on your earlobe before you pierce your ear. The VHF transmitter that's on the flipper should stay on there for multiple years, but we don't really know how long it'll stay there. The satellite transmitter that's glued on the back will stay on for about 8 or 9 months. Harbor seals lose their fur just one time a year, so that tag will stay on there until they molt or lose their fur. Once we put the satellite tag on and we glue it on and it's stable, what we're doing is we're passing a magnet over the top of the satellite transmitter. And what the magnet does is it takes the satellite transmitter out of the sleeping mode, which saves the battery. It's interesting so far, and it's early in the study, but what we found is that some animals stay very close to where they're released or where they were caught, while other animals are traveling huge distances, sometimes 150 to 200 kilometers.
They all did quite well. Most of them stayed around in the San Juan Islands. A couple of them went up into Canada. And one, Honeysuckle, the one that we had rescued out of the motor well of that boat, she stayed around in the San Juan Islands until just before Christmas. And at that point, she started heading out the Strait of Juan de Fuca to the open Pacific Ocean. And she made a left turn down the Washington coast and kept on going. And she wound up in Oregon in Tillamook Bay. That was a real surprise because we didn't realize that harbor seals actually had that large of a territory. We generally had believed that their territory was only about 60 miles. So it was really fascinating to watch her travels.
So probably the easiest thing is to go to the SeaDoc Society website, which is seadocsociety.org, and on the left you'll see an area that says Track a Seal. So you click there and you can track them by individual seals and also get more information about the project. When you see a harbor seal on the beach, the #1 thing to remember is don't interfere. It's probably best for you to go and call. There's a 1-800 number that you can call to report a stranding. Keep your dog away from it, keep kids away from it, and let it be there. It needs to rest. And if there's a problem, people that are trained will come out and figure out what needs to happen next.